Hi everyone, I'm back again. Just wanted to do a quick comparison video between the Samsung Galaxy S5 and the Nexus 5. They obviously have a lot to offer users, but which one offers the more complete experience and which one is better value for money? Well, obviously right off the bat you could say that the Nexus 5 is good value for money, because it's going to be supported long term, and it's a lot cheaper. But I think to some people they may want to gravitate towards the Galaxy S5 because it offers a lot more in terms of options, such as expandability, as well as longer battery life and possibly better camera. So from the looks of both devices, they are very solidly built. It's obviously quite a standard look about the Nexus 5. It's not going to win any awards, but it feels like it could take some damage. It doesn't particularly look as nice as something like the HTC One, but it certainly gives a nice solid feel in the hand and doesn't feel too big. Whereas the Galaxy S5, that's quite hefty in the hand. It looks like kind of like a note, a pseudo note, in my opinion, without the stylus. It's got quite a nice metallic ring around it, as well as this nice textured back, which is quite a dividing pattern that Samsung has put onto its devices now, including the Note 3 and the Galaxy Tab Pro. But some people like it, some people don't. I personally quite like it, as long as it's not in the ugly colours of gold and blue. But I think it's an improvement of the old Galaxy S4 backs. I think the head of actual design for Samsung mobiles has actually just resigned though, so probably it's not been a good enough change in terms of taking on like the HTC One as well as the Xperia handsets, which are very premium looking now. But both very solid feeling though, and feel like they're going to last. I'd say that in terms of my own preferences, I probably like the Samsung look a bit more, because it just looks a bit more exciting around the edges. But I have an appreciation for how the Nexus feels and looks at the same time. In regards to the screen technology, they differ in that the Nexus 5 uses a true IPS display, full HD, whereas the Galaxy S5 uses a AMOLED display. The AMOLED display on the Galaxy S5 has been praised for being very vibrant and looking very good in sunlight, as well as having very good viewing angles. As you can see, the colours don't really wash out when you look at it from the sides. So this is obviously one of the best panels that Samsung has produced for its device. On the other hand, the LG Nexus 5 to me was a bit of a disappointment in regards to the washed out colours when you tilt the device. But when you're looking at it straight on, and when you're looking at it in like sunlight, it does look very nice and vibrant, and you're not going to have any issues with like text choppiness or anything. But I think that the Galaxy S5's display is just that little bit better. But that's probably because I prefer my AMOLED displays. In regards to the specifications, the Samsung is running a quad-core Snapdragon 801 clocked at 2.5 GHz, and the Nexus is running a Snapdragon 800 clocked at about 2.3 GHz. So they're both very capable performers. We can just run a quick benchmark just to see how both of them fly through it. I doubt there will be much performance difference really, because there's not much difference in the sort of architecture that the Snapdragon 801 is using. So I think the Galaxy S5 finished a little bit quicker. Well, as you can see, the Galaxy S5 seems to really do well on this particular test, scoring about double or nearly double the amount that the Nexus 5 does, which is quite strange to me. I thought that they'd be quite similar in terms of performance, but hey ho. I guess the Snapdragon 801 must be much better, and because it's also clocked at a higher speed, that must also help. But I think they both have 2 gigs of RAM, so in terms of day-to-day usage, they're both very easy to use and very lag-free. The Nexus 5 is buttery smooth, even though it might not score as high as the Galaxy S5. So there's not going to be any issues in regards to performance. But I did notice some lag in the gallery of the Galaxy S5, so that's probably the only place I noticed it. But compared to the S4, it's a lot smoother, and I think that's because of the newer version of Touchwiz as well. So yeah, in regards to the storage, they both have different storage models. The Samsung has come with a 16 gig storage, and I think you can get to 32 gig and 64 gig version, and that has a micro SD, whereas the Nexus comes with 16 gig, 32 gig models. I don't know if there's a 64 gig, it could be a special version, but I'm aware of a 16 gig or 32 gig. And I think that's more than sufficient for most people, but if you're a sort of person who likes to transfer your files from your old device on a micro SD to a new one, then you might be a bit upset what Google's doing here, not allowing you to do that. And also you're not allowed to install a lot of apps to your micro SD as well. I think Google wants to kind of limit that, but I think in general both of them have decent storage. I think that you on the 16 gig model of the S5 you'll find that there is less storage from the offset because of all the Samsung apps that comes on it, many of which you might never use. And as you can see, I've also got 3 apps on there as well, which will be using storage. So just be aware of your available storage on the S5. It may not be anywhere near 16 gig, it could be something as low as 10 gig or something. In regards to cameras, they both have slightly different cameras. The camera on the Samsung is a 16 megapixel ISO cell camera, which supports Ultra HD recording and is optically stabilized, and it's well known for, well, it's been tested quite a lot recently in review sites, and it's pretty much come on top in regards to the new smartphones. I think in some tests it's drawn with the Xperia Z2, but it's much better than the HTC One M8 in most categories. On the Nexus device you have an 8 megapixel camera with OIS and HDR+, and that is also quite a decent camera. At first when it was released it was panned for not focusing quickly, but Google did release an update, and it's now quite a decent camera, although it's still probably not as good as the flagships such as Xperia Z1 and the Galaxy S4 and 5. But I think the main change really that you'll find in the cameras is that on the Nexus 5 it's a very basic interface. You have just like a panorama, lens blur, and some other options you can configure in the settings. Whereas on the Samsung, you've got a whole load of different things you can configure, such as metering, picture stabilization, selective zoom, different effects, different modes, night mode, beauty face, etc. So Samsung have you covered in regards to fine-tuning the details on your pictures. And if you're a person who likes taking pictures, then the S5 is probably the better choice. But I think for most people, the Nexus 5 would do the job, particularly if you're just uploading to Facebook or Twitter or whatever. And let's not forget that the Nexus 5 is nearly half the price. In regards to battery life, the battery life on the Nexus 5 should get the job done. It's a bit anemic. I wish that Google would have put like a 2500 mAh in instead of 2300, and that would probably make you a little less cautious on like using the phone. But I think the 2300 mAh battery is decent. In regards to the S5, the battery is very long-standing. It just goes on and on and on. I think that's because of the new processor as well, which gives it a very good standby time, as well as a lot of actual use time and screen on time. It's also got its power saving mode, which is a new one, an ultra power saving mode, which can apparently keep it going at 10% for 2 weeks in standby. So, but that does disable virtually everything and makes it look black and white. I've never had to use the ultra power saving mode in the S5, so but it's good if you're not going to be near a charger for a long time. So the S5 certainly wins in terms of battery, and it's also removable. So if you do need to remove it, you can just swap out the old battery and put a new battery in, whereas the Nexus 5s will degrade in a couple of years and will need to be sent to LG or wherever to get replaced. I think that about covers it in terms of hardware stuff. They've both got good hardware for now. I think that the hardware on the Samsung is more future-proof, but I think it's the software really where the Nexus 5 will be more future-proof. And the software that both of them run is KitKat. This is due to get the newest version of KitKat soon, released by Google, 4.4.3. And that will fix some of the bugs such as the camera battery drain bug. The software on the Galaxy S5 runs the latest version of Touchwiz, which I think is a step in the right direction in terms of making it look a bit more attractive. But some may not like the Touchwiz at all and want to see it more like stock. I think it's just a matter of opinion really. Obviously you do get a lot of value added stuff on the Samsung, such as Chat On and S Health, S Voice, and Samsung apps, but I disable or remove a lot of these things because I don't really use them, so to me it's just bloatware. You also on the Samsung do get the download booster as well, which is I think a fantastic innovation, and also you get quite a lot of other things such as the fingerprint scanner and a heartbeat sensor on the back, but these could be considered gimmicks by a lot of people. In terms of software, they're both excellent, but it just depends on what you like really. I think that about covers it in terms of software. In regards to the sound quality, the speakers I'd say decent, but not going to win any awards for being loud. I'll give you a good demonstration of the speakers. First on the Nexus. So a bit tinny, but sounds okay. There's nothing worse to me than a phone which doesn't have a decent speaker. Try the S5 now. So it definitely sounds more bassier and louder on the Galaxy. I don't think anyone can dispute that. But generally they both sound decent, and also through the headphones you've got quite a lot more equalizer options on the Samsung, such as the ability to slow down the track, as well as put like a studio mode on. So audiophiles will probably choose the Galaxy over the Nexus. I think just in most respects it offers a better sound quality. Yeah, I think that about covers it. So they're both excellent devices, whichever you choose. If you've got more money though, then it's probably worthwhile to splash out on the Samsung, because it's probably, in terms of the hardware, more future-proof. But if you're someone who likes to save money, then you could save 200 odd quid and just get a Nexus and be very satisfied, and then put that other 200 quid to a tablet or a TV or something. Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked it, then don't forget to subscribe or like the video. Cheers!